Hey, Skylar here for the Mint Change You Can Wear. And we finally hit 100,000 subscribers. And that means we're going to be doing the coin ring giveaway. And after running all the comments through the randomizer, we got our winner. And his name is Jason Strauss. Congratulations. Hope you don't throw your tools down like that. And since we're doing a tool giveaway, I thought it'd be a good time to do a complete rundown on all the tools that we use for coin ring making. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So the most basic method you can use for making a coin ring is hammering them down a steel mandrel like one of these guys. And I did a video a couple years ago on doing just that. It's called Forged Coin Ring Making for Beginners Book 1. And all you really need to buy for specialty tools is a steel ring mandrel and this nylon teardrop mallet you get at Harbor Freight. And that does require you to have a few tools of your own that aren't specialty tools, like a drill, a torch, a vise, a file, drill bits, things like that. So I'll put a link to that video right here for you guys to check out. That method is a little bit more difficult, so it just takes a ton of practice getting that angle down right on how you hit that coin in order to get it completely closed up on the ring mandrel. And this next setup is what I really recommend to people who are getting started. It's a $200 to $300 setup, and once you have it, you can build on it and get a really amazing setup. Tooling's not going to be holding you back, and you'll be really successful at making quarters and half dollars with this method. And what this method requires: stretcher reducer machine, 9-piece Harbor Freight punch and die set, steel or aluminum mandrel, ring sizing gauge, propane torch, deburring tool, 0.9 by 1.0 17-degree die by Jason's Works, Ross coin alignment card, universal stabilizer folding cones and spacer set by Jason's Works, and also a stainless steel starter cone from Jason's Works. That's about it for all the tools that we're going to need. And as far as supplies, all we need is some 4-0 steel wool, 120 grit sandpaper, Pepe lube from Pepe Tools, and some jewelry wipes. And if you follow the steps on that video, you're going to be really successful at making quarters and even half dollars. So as you get better with the basic steps on how to make a quarter or even a half dollar, then you can start moving up into the more difficult coins like Morgan dollars. And those are going to require different tools. And now this is the setup that I recommend for someone who's getting into it. They've already learned and mastered the quarters and they want to move on to more of a serious hobby, or even starting a business where you're selling these at craft shows. And that's going to be the master kit that Jason's Works puts out. And the other things you're going to need that aren't included in Jason's master kit are just a couple other things. The first one being a good ring stretcher reducer. So this is an Indian made, just generic ring stretcher reducer. You can get these online for about $100 and they're awesome. A lot of people dog on these and I don't understand it. I ran a business using this for years. I made thousands and thousands of rings without even having one of these break. But there is one real big downfall to these, and this is it right here. These dies, when you get them, the first thing you do when you get these is just throw them away. They're no good for anything. Most of the time, whenever people call me and say they're having a hard time making rings and I can't understand why, it's because they're using this die. And what you use instead are Jason's dies. They're designed to fit under the reducing portion of the stretcher reducer machine. And these are the folding cones you use with any ring stretcher reducer machine. And when you're using those, you have to use these steel starter cones in order to not damage these when you're doing your initial press. If you want to step up and get a really nice stretching reducing machine, I definitely recommend this one. This is a durston. These dies come really well made and you can use them right out of the box. No problems there. The only problem I do have with the durstons is these splines are really, really sharp when you first get them. So you have to make sure you're putting something between your coin and this ring mandrel so that way you're not ruining your coins on the inside. Plastic on there. And then you can slide your ring down with the plastic, protecting the inside detail of that coin. These are about 4 times more than one of these. It's always a good idea to get one of these, get into the hobby, get into the craft, and do your learning on this. And if you really are serious about it, then you can upgrade to one of these guys. Now I use 2 different types of press also. This 1-ton arbor press, I get this one at Harbor Freight. You can get a more expensive one, but to be honest with you, it's gonna do the exact same thing this 1-ton from Harbor Freight does. And what I use this one for, I use this for folding all my coins. I use it with Jason's dies underneath. And the other thing that this is great for is Swedish wrapping. You can use these tall dies inside of here with these Ross push followers and you have all the room in the world under here to use it. And that's what I really like to use these for. And they're not overpowered like a 6-ton would be, where you could be more worried about damaging your push followers. And that leads us to the last press that we do use, is this 6-ton press. Now mine does say 8-ton, but that's just because I had replaced this bottle jack. The original one I had for years finally gave out, and I went to go get a new one, and all they had was a 4-ton or an 8-ton bottle jack, so I decided to go up to an 8. And the only thing I use this 6-ton press for anymore is sizing Morgan dollars, and that's it. Everything else I use either the 1-ton arbor press for or just the ring stretcher reducer for. But when you're sizing Morgan dollars, it's a lot nicer to have a lot more power behind you, and that's why I like this one. Now, could you do everything you wanted to with just a 6-ton press? Yeah, for sure you could. Could you do everything you wanted to with just a 1-ton press? Yeah, for the most part, I think you could. It's just easier to have them in conjunction. Everyone's gonna find something that they like the most and go with that setup. But for me, I do all my folding and all my Swedish wrapping with a 1-ton, my 6-ton press for sizing Morgans only, and I size everything else in a ring stretching machine. You can choose the cheaper Indian version if you wanted to, or you can step up to a durston. And there's a ton of different cone options out there too. So we saw these ones earlier. You can use these for the ring stretching reducing machine. And if you use those, you have to have the starter cone that goes with it. And if you did all your folding in one of these guys, you can use these cones instead. This is a universal stainless steel folding cone, and this is a composite folding cone. That's the full size one. And these are the two that I use all the time. I don't use the small ones just because I don't do all my folding in the ring stretcher reducer. You don't even have to have this one. You can take this one only and wrap it with Teflon tape. But I use this one to start my folds, and then I use this guy to finish it so that I don't have to wrap anything with tape. They all do the exact same thing, so you're not going to be wasting your money if you pick one over another. But there is another thing you need to buy if you're going to do any sizing in this or the 6-ton press, and that is this guy. This is a coin anvil. And all these specialty tools that we're looking at, the coin anvil, the folding cones and all that, and all the dies, they all come from Jason's Works. So jasons.works if you're looking for them online. And I'm gonna have links for all this stuff in the description box below when we're done. And when we're talking about cutting holes in our coins, there's a lot of different options out there. My two favorite are these. The most basic one is a Harbor Freight 9-piece punch and die set. And you use these in conjunction with these guys. These cards come from Ross Coin Rings. I'll have a link in the description box for his website. And these center a coin for a 1/2-inch hole inside of a 9-piece Harbor Freight punch and die set. We also have these guys. These come from King's Coin Ring Tools, but these are the older ones. And basically what they do is you'll have different holes for different denominations of coins, and then you have these spacers that go in there, and you can change the hole size that you're cutting in the coin. He's got cards that do all of the American coins in one card. This is basically the cheaper option where you guys can get started without spending an absolute ton. Check those guys out. King's Coin Rings Tools for these, and Ross Coin Rings for these. And if you guys have been watching in my videos, you know I use exclusively the Jason's Works Auto Punch. This is by far the best thing out there to cut a hole in a coin. The problem with it is it's pretty expensive. It's quick, it's easy, and it's incredibly well made. So really, if you're gonna be doing this for a business or a really serious hobby, this is the way to go. But if not, you can always get started with these guys. This is no problem either. So for the complete setup, if you're wanting to do the master kit and both punches and a nice ring stretcher reducer, you're looking around $2,000 for a setup like that. And now let's take a look at what I use for spinner rings. And this is a lathe that I use. It's a Central Machinery Precision Mini Lathe, 7-inch by 10-inch. And I got this at Harbor Freight also. And I'm pretty new to using a lathe, so I decided to start with this one. And to be honest with you, I've been pretty happy with it. It does everything I ask of it. And then these are the ring mandrels, the expanding ring mandrels that I use. These come from Wildwood Designs, and their website is bangleguide.com. And these come in several different sizes, so you can check out their website and see which ones you want to get for what ring sizes you want to make. But they're really wonderful. You put your ring on there and expand it to where it's holding it, and just makes life really easy when you're trying to do anything on the lathe with a ring. Alright guys, that's just a real quick crash course on the tools that I use. These are just the ones that I really found that work great day in and day out. You're not going to have quality issues with these tools, they're going to just work for you. And remember, coin ring making isn't a race. It takes time to learn these skills, so don't get discouraged if you make your first ring and it doesn't turn out perfect. Just keep plugging away, Practice with quarters, get really good at making quarters, and then move up to the half dollars. And once you get good at half dollars, move on to Morgan dollars. So I hope this gets you guys where you need to go. Make sure you guys stay tuned for more videos coming up. I've got some really exciting projects coming up here in the future. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Was I even recording? Okay, thank goodness.